Marie Pierre, what a stunning collection. And what an absolute joy to have you here in Toronto. I know it's not a trip you make too often, but wow, it's absolutely stellar that you brought this here. We have been following your career for decades now, absolutely adoring everything you do. You've always had such a bold, definite vision for the way women ought to dress, and you certainly haven't disappointed. What was really feeding your soul for this particular collection this season, Marie?
Well, I don't have, maybe, sorry. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. Well, as usual, it's work in progress for the brand. It's always trying to search in our values and in our roots, DNA of the brand. After 30 years, you need to be truthful to yourself, but you need to renew. So it's always about technology, the way we sew things. I mean, we are really careful about the experience that you have when you wear Marie Pierre. So it's as important as the look. Maybe sometimes even more important to have that good feeling that make me feel good clothes. I played with femininity, with prints, but in a bold way. I wanted to keep it very graphic, very urban. Basically, I wanted to also say thank you to Yorkdale Shopping Mall to have us here. I planted the seed a few years ago when I visited the mall, and it seemed that they understood that a pop-up of Canadian fashion in this mall would be really a great addition. They took it at heart. They made it happen. I know it's a lot of work to curate those projects, and I'm very fond to see that we have a fashion can here in Yorkdale. And yeah, I've been around a few times in the last year with Haute Trend Fou, of course, that the brand is selling there too. So I'm thanking Haute Trend Fou also for having us in Yorkdale and exposing the brand to its most, like to a top retail shop. Basically, yeah.
The Canadian fashion landscape has changed so dramatically in some ways, and in other ways maybe not so much. But over the past 30 years since we first met in the trenches, what do you think the most significant way things have changed has been?
Well, I look at some of the collection yesterday and I saw some maturity in Canadian brands. I mean, we're a very young industry. We're like pioneers, and we need the customer to buy into our product, to help us get it better. That's the only way to achieve a luxury brand or a brand that will evolve into an international market. So the exchange between the customer and the brand is very, very ultra important. Especially in the luxury and designer label. Also, I think we need to be more at the retail level. It's been a miss in the last decades to have a real showcase in terms of retail for most designers. I see some fabulous talent here. I don't really know where they sell. I'm like always sad to see such beautiful clothes that are not, they don't have the space they deserve. It's a battle, but it's also a battle of production behind it. There's many battles to be won. So one by one, I'm happy to see, like I said, how the collections are evolving into the design and the personality and the maturity. We're really a bridge between Europe and America, and I start to feel it. It's not just in my mind. I start to see it happening in clothes and in the way we think about fashion.
You've certainly managed to walk the line over the decades between, artistry and commercial viability, and that's something that I know you understand you have to straddle in order to be a success. How do you suggest that others might be able to do the same? Because obviously it's a head over heart issue sometimes.
Well, people think sometimes when the clothes sell, it's because they're commercial. I think when the clothes sell, from my end perspective, is because they fit well and they're well made, and the person is willing to pay the price tag on it. So it's not only a question of being commercial. We know luxury house from Europe, they do sell tons of different product, but they have a reliable product at the end, and that's, I think, very important. To have a niche, to have a reliable you can follow the trends. You can, but you're not going to succeed in this industry. You really have to find who you are and to have your own conversation with your customer and with your client. And women are evolving at a fast pace in terms of dressing, in terms of what they want from clothes. They're willing to invest, but they also want the magic that happens when you wear, like when you spend that kind of money. Not just, okay, I'm wearing this label. I think we've grown out of that, just buying a label for buying a label. I think we're like, right now we like this optimum feeling where you can actually feel good. It fits you well. It has that signature. And especially if you are Canadian and you buy local, it's even better. You're ahead of the game.
One of my favorite things to do every time I go to Montreal is visit your boutique, which is really like a gallery to me. I mean, and really elevates the clothing to a whole other level. It's wonderful to see the collection in one space like that. What has having your own retail space really taught you?
It's very important, I think, to have your own retail space for a designer brand because you do understand what people like and don't like about what you do. And what they like, you should emphasize and you should make it better all the time because they love that. When you are a designer, sometimes you're in search for just the next collection, a change. When you have a retail space, you're in search for the next thing that your clientele is going to fall for. And it can be very forward, it can be very new, it can be in many different aspects. What does it make it that people will pay the price tag that you put on? So it's either material, construction, finishes, of course volumes and aesthetic, but the store has been, to me anyways, it's been the best space to try things. It's like a laboratory, and I've met amazing women who came to the store and bought. So I create a friendship and a conversation with women that I've never even thought I dressed. And when they say that I'm with them for a very important moment of their life, whether they travel and they need something that is efficient, and they come to me because they know they can rely on the brand. I think that's because many years they told me, oh, I can rely on your pieces to travel and I feel good when, so I just made it just got synced into like, okay, this is really important that the well-being of the clothes is immersed in all the creative process. Sometimes we will do beautiful clothes and they will not make it to the commercial because somehow they don't fit that value that you need to feel good in the clothes. So.
I look at your 30-year career and your signature has always remained so strong and so definite throughout each and every collection. It's unmistakably a Marie Saint-Pierre piece when you see it. Has the joy of creation become stronger for you as the years have gone by? Does it mean the same thing for you to create a wonderful collection today as it did in those early years?
As I grow in my creative process, I find there's less and less limits. I find that I can go many different directions. I can try many different things. So my mind is going 300 miles an hour for new. I mean, we create 6 to 7 collections a year, so that's a lot. That's a lot of product, but that's a lot of good product to put on. You don't want to just push in stuff just to collect dust in a wardrobe. So you want to try to make each piece like one that's going to make a difference in someone's wardrobe, anyways. But I still have a lot of fun in doing all the artisan work behind all the collection. I change almost all the fabrics. There is a process of changing the fabric within the collections. So that's the first step. Between bonding them, and making them, if I bond the wool to a technical jersey in order to have that dry fit on the skin, but the beautiful look of the wool. We have a temperature issue also, which is becoming more and more important with what we wear and where we travel. We like to be comfortable for longer hours. We don't have time to go change. So the clothes need to perform extremely well, and the days are long for women who are on the go and like very active. Their day starts at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it might stop at 9 o'clock. So clothes need to go on with you, and I think that's also the root of creating a better product, a better piece of clothing, knowing that it might just even travel through different stage of your daily life, giving a conference, talking to some people, having a cocktail with your friends. That whole idea where you can actually have your clothes mutate with you during the days is great.
Well, your clothes have always been ultimately modern and ultimately timeless at the same time. Thank you so much for showing women how they can make a strong statement that is both beautiful and pragmatic and just makes us feel great. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Marie St. Pierre.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.